Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. Josh Prophet. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
It's 70 out there, but not sunny in 70.
Oh, it is. It is.
Somewhere, though, right?
Yeah, it is somewhere, I assure you.
Well, let me tell you, Josh, we rolled to Salina last night to go race. And as we're rolling in there, Nick's looking at his phone. He says, "Oh, look at this storm brewing in with, it's going to miss us." You know, I mean, it's like that. We got there about 30 minutes in, and it was a downpour.
Really? Just let loose, huh?
Yeah, it rained on us all the way to almost Lindsborg on the I-35. It's just pouring. I mean, It was crazy. It let loose. That was crazy about that, Josh. Flight didn't even show nothing on there. It's serious.
Huh.
Kind of crazy. So anyway, Salina got rained out last night, but oh well, I guess it is what it is from that part. We'll just have to come back next week and see what happens from that part too. So
you got to turn around.
We got to turn around. No, we was in the racetrack. We were there.
Well, but I mean, you didn't get a race or anything.
No racing happened. But it is what it is. It's raining everywhere, which is crazy. So
yeah.
Hey, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Morning, Delbert. How you doing, buddy? Anyway, it's a call-in show. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, whatever you want to talk about too. I want to talk about new Fords, new products, new anything in the automobile world. Love to hear from you. And for each and every caller, you get a great price package, and we still haven't verified that it's over.
I had a list of just the list. It's on the list.
It's on the list of things to do, right? So
I promise I'm working on the list.
That's what the list is. I'd say that same thing too.
The list is full. That's how that goes.
So anyway, as always, for each and every caller, you get a great price package valued over $130. We know that for sure.
Yep.
So what is in that package, Josh?
So it's the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're completing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related stuff on that vehicle. You also get complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. You'll get $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner, and a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA for your engine oil and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. All
right, 316-462-3673. So everything, I'm doing good today. Good, Delbert. Are you working today, Delbert, or are you off today? So I guess we'll find that out here shortly. But anyway, sorry, I got things going, phone's going crazy over here, text and everything else coming in. So sorry about that. But anyway, Josh, I guess let's switch gears just for a moment. Did you put Salt City up live?
I did not. So this deal here, I was trying to get it.
Working? You got more technical difficulties?
Trying to get it up and going.
Anyway, what I wanted to talk about this morning is when we went live Wednesday on the Salt City page and everything too, talking about there, we were talking about our online store that we're started. So we just got everything kind of started and everything. I kind of wanted to show that a little bit for everybody out there to be able to buy some apparel and things like that too. All right, good. You got a day off there, Delbert. Well, maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not connected there,
But anyway, if you want to go to saltcityracingllc.com, over on the left-hand side is an area to shop. And right now we have our T-shirts up there, and we have some seat cushions coming here. It'll be here in the middle of June.
Oh, very good.
And we have some hats coming, a black and blue hat that's coming. And that's just a start. We're just getting things started, get things fired off.
How did you get a red shirt approved?
I don't know. Kind of crazy, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I knew I didn't want to get chewed out by Gus having a black shirt on, so I
just so you went with red.
That's just next one in line in the closet.
Go, okay.
The truth,
yeah.
But I knew I wasn't putting the black one on today.
Yeah. So they got the T-shirts over there. I had a lot of people. We were over there.
Last Friday.
Yeah, it was last Friday. Was over there, and I think that went very well for sure. But I did have a lot of people ask about. We were wearing blue shirts. And then we shot several of them out into the crowd. And when we shot them out into the crowd, I had a lot of people come up and say, "Hey, I want to buy one of those shirts." And so, but they're able to get that same shirt now.
It's not the polo; it's a T-shirt.
No. I understand the one you shot out. Yeah,
I'm trying to keep the polo shirts and that for our employees and stuff for the store for the racetrack.
Yeah, it was specifically not the polos, the ones that we had shot out that
Yes.
people were asking about.
So you can get on saltcityracingllc.com and you can grab over on the left-hand side is where the shop is, and you can order you up some shirts. You can come to the dealership, pick them up. We can ship them to you. Or if you want to go pick them up the next time we're at Hutch at the racetrack on June 21st would be fine too. But we do have them available online to purchase from that part standpoint too.
Yeah. Lisa had wrapped those shirts, or somebody had wrapped them up, but then she took an extra step and we weren't just shooting shirts into the cannon. Some of them had some cash in them and then some variations of prizes and stuff like that. So I know of two that ended up on the roof of that.
Who did that?
It was a guy running the t-shirt gun.
Who was running that t-shirt gun?
I was trying to get it really close.
You really got it on the roof up there?
I did. Yeah.
Woo.
Like cleared it by a long ways too. Completely on accident, but I was trying to get it really close without, just line driving somebody.
Oh, yeah, that's part of the fun.
Is what the deal was. So at some point they're going to blow down all the roof, and I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be one of the ones that got some cash in it. So somebody's going to find a t-shirt and some cash.
Have a little prize.
It'd be their lucky day, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. So anyway, Jason Kotz, good morning. Guys, question, what's the difference between the XLT, STX, and FX4 models on the F-150s? Well, that's kind of a broad question, Jason, but let me kind of go through it with you for just a moment. How our trim lines are, if you want to talk about the new truck, because the FX4 kind of has a little bit of a variance in there depending on the year and stuff of the truck. Back in like 12, 13, 14, I think maybe even 15, FX4 was like a trim line, kind of like the XLT, STX, that kind of thing. Now what they've done is they've got the trim lines, and FX4 is the off-road package that can be added to any trim line of the truck. So anyway, basically we start off with the XL, which is our base model truck. Then we have the STX, and what the STX is just basically taking an XL and putting a little fancier trim level on
almost
it.
Like an appearance
package.
Yeah,
there you go.
Appearance package to it.
On the XL truck, and then of course the XLT is just a step better with more trim, more features, more stuff on it than the XL. From that part. But again, the FX4 is strictly it's a free-flowing option now. I think that started in 18, I think is when they started doing that, to where any trim line can have the FX4 package. And a lot of people think it's just every year's a little bit differently. Some people just thought it was shocks and skid plates, but now it's turned into be that it's a part of the tow package. It's part of the shocks. It's part of the skid plates. It's part of the wiring harness in the back, and all kinds of things. Now that FX4 package is turned into be. From that standpoint too.
And I was wondering, it's been a long time since being in the GM world, but I've always envisioned the FX4 and the Z71 to kind of be the same thing. And I don't know if that's still the same today. Years ago, that was kind of the rule.
That is
for sure.
You're exactly right. I think that Z71 thing has kind of went away.
I believe so too.
They got the RST and XYZ and whatever
there's a Haas model and everything else out there now on the Chevrolet side of things. But years ago, I think the FX4 and the Z71 were kind of the four-wheel drive with the skid plates and the different shocks and a little more aggressive tires.
Well, I can't still remember in the Chevrolet where people come in, they didn't say they had a Silverado. They'd come in, I got a Z71.
Yeah.
You weren't nothing if you didn't have the
Z71. So and that's something that we can kind of talk to, just not necessarily with these specific models, but is that something that you've seen manufacturers or maybe even Ford specifically kind of trim down the number of options that are available to a consumer and put them more in just like a package, so you get this group of stuff and you get this group of stuff with the availability of parts and products or just the simplicity of the vehicle. I mean, there for a while you could get 12 different headlights in something, for example, or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Ford has done a good job. But the worst vehicle model line we have is the Transit full-size van, because there are so many free-flowing options and so many trim levels and so many. I think there's like 100 different body codes you can order a Transit van in. Uh-huh. It's a nightmare to order one, if you know the truth. I'm always calling Curtis saying, what's this? We got this. I need this. That kind of thing. But now most of the trim lines with Ford, they have came up with a more standardization, I guess I should say, on their trim lines, which helps drastically for sure. For example, we have what we call OTD orders, and I don't know what that all stands for. But basically, Ford goes out and looks at what's selling and that sort of thing, and what's the most popular options, and make those trucks. So every month they give me options to go in and take those trucks or not take those trucks or whatever. But you're doing it on every trim line, from Explorer, Escape, all that kind of stuff, where everything is, here's your XLT and it's got this. All the only thing difference is color.
Yeah.
Here's your Lariat, and it's only thing different is color. They're all standard with these many options because the people that are ordering those trucks are that way. So if you want one that needs something other than what it's got on, then you're gonna have to order the truck, whatever. It's kind of going that way. I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like it that way. I mean, I think it's better, because trying to nitpick a truck down so tight exactly how you want it. Well, you know what? I always tell people too, when you're buying a vehicle, like a lot of people say, I'll never use that sunroof.
Yeah.
Got a caller coming in?
Yeah.
Well, let's get the call.
Okay. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Jordan. Jordan, you're on live with Under the Hood.
Hey, what are you doing? Yeah. So where are you headed? Where? Rusted Rooster. All right. Well, that's good. So can't hear the caller. So I wonder what's going on. We got something messed up here. They're saying on the chat line they can't hear you, which might not be a bad thing too. No, I don't think that's it. I think we've got some technical difficulty here with where the phone is not coming through.
Let's see. So we are
through so they can hear it through the radio part is what I think is happening here. I know Gus is watching because Gus just made fun of my shirt, and from that part, well, I thought it was pretty nice. I thought.
Oh, heck yeah! You know it. You know it.
So I don't know if we can.
Patching back through.
He says unmute the USB tab on the cell.
Yeah, so it's not.
No, it's unmuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Not with you calling. That's for darn sure. Unmute USB in cell. Well, okay, so here's what you do. What I did the other day. Put it on speaker and get the other headset over there and get the mic right up to the deal and have him. Yes, put that.
Okay, well, there we go. Now let's give that a shot. Man, all this technical difficulty all the time.
Yeah. So now, Jordan, I think we got you where we can hear.
Okay, so I've got a question, just a general automotive question, something I've wondered for years. I bet you can answer it for me.
Okay, what's that?
Did I lose you?
No, we got you.
Are you there?
Jordan.
You there?
Yeah, did I lose you guys?
No, we got you.
Okay, so I got an automotive question, something I've wondered for years, and I thought, you know what, I bet my two experts up at the big corner will answer this question for me.
Okay.
So I drive a modern vehicle with an automatic transmission. Like,
what do you mean modern?
Of America.
What do you mean modern?
Modern, I said modern.
Okay, so keep going. I got you.
It's not a stick shift. I do know how to drive a stick shift. Obviously, I grew up driving standard vehicles and race cars. But in all my years, let's say 30 years of driving an automatic, every one of them has got D1, 2, 3. The new ones even have where you can switch it to manual mode, yada, yada. And I can never think of one scenario ever where I've ever used anything except drive. Why do they have those other gears? What application are they for? Because I've never once found myself in a position to use one. And with new cars like my wife's has, where you can switch it to manual, what is that even for? Like, what advantage is there, and why do they put it in there? I feel like it's unnecessary. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, I get your point, and I kind of agree with you 100% on that too. But there's several scenarios that I can come up with for one. One is when you're towing or whatever. If you're towing something, you want to keep it at a certain RPM or whatever from that part, and not make it shift back and forth. Because every time your transmission shifts, you're building heat. So you can lock it into a gear so it just stays in that gear from that part. The next thing I'm going to be, let's say you're in Colorado coming down some big mountains or whatever, of keeping that car in one solid gear instead of letting it go ahead and shift into high gear or whatever as you're coming down the hills up in that part. Of course, there's hill descent and all kinds of things they've added on to these cars now today too to stop that too. But that's my two applications that I think for the manual transmission. But again, it's like it's in the Super Duties too when you're towing and stuff too. But I'm with you. I've never yet to use the manual mode.
Driving experience. That's
well, okay.
You know,
so you act like you got a manual.
Well, and then here's my other thing too is the so I got a couple of stories about this. So one is when you put it in that manual mode and you're using the paddle shifters or push button shifter or whatever to shift through the gears, like what I don't even get is the computer will still override whatever's best for the vehicle. So you're not going to sit there and just, rev the engine past a certain RPM or start off in too high of a gear because it will actually default back to the automatic mode. So are you really controlling it for one? But then there was another scenario that we had got into with an individual that owned a 5-liter Mustang. And if it was in automatic mode, it would hold the RPM in that gear longer than as if it was in the manual shift mode.
Yeah.
And it was called like a rev shift match, or they had like a name for it as the reason why it was. But basically the time that it would take you to manually shift the gear, you would be over the red line. And we're talking 300 or 400 RPMs, but for somebody to notice that, I don't know how in the world they even picked up on it, but going through and reading description and operation, that's how it was designed to do that. So even though it's in manual mode, you're still an automatic,
Dustin Frenius says, you are a rookie is what he's calling you, Jordan. He shifts a manual 18 speed daily. So he's in a big semi shifting it around. So now Delbert's got another good point here too. He drives an F-250 on the base and the speed limit is 25 mile an hour. So he uses the manual so that it can keep the RPMs up to help with the water in the exhaust. So, keep the RPM up, all that kind of thing. If you're only doing 25 mile an hour, I get that. Kick your RPM back up instead of probably running around about 1900 RPM, kick it up to 2500 in a lower gear or whatever too. So there's some examples for you there, Jordan.
Yep, I've never done any of those other than tell-all. You said tell-all earlier. Yeah, obviously when I pull a trailer, I push the button and put in tell-all. So yeah, I guess I've done that. But that's just a button. I don't even consider that a gear. That's just, hey, I'm towing, I'm pushing the button.
Yeah.
But,
push the button.
And I guess I don't travel to the mountains enough that would make sense. If I'm rolling down a hill on the mountain, put it in second, so the gears will mash and it'll, slowly wind down. I guess that makes a little bit of sense. To me, it just seems like a lot of unnecessary stuff. It seems like the modern car ought to have D, R, neutral, and park. That's it. But fair enough.
Yeah, got to get you there too. And I think there is some cars that are that way, though. Pretty sure there is. Not many, though. I'll give you that break. I will tell you that for sure. So, anyway, that's a great question, Jordan. I'm surprised you kind of come up with it too.
I sure appreciate you guys answering it for me.
Yeah. So, Dustin, I think you're hearing. It's just Jordan that you're hearing quietly. I think you hear Josh and I okay. I think that's what it is. We're having a little technical difficulty on the phone coming through the system this morning. So, Dustin, I hope that's what you're hearing. I hope you can hear Josh and I okay. Jordan doesn't really matter anyway.
Right, fair enough. All right, well, you guys have a good weekend. I'll holler at you later.
See you, buddy.
Thanks,
Have a
Jordan.
good night. Have a good day, buddy. Anyway, we got to get this phone thing figured out. It happened that way the other day too in here too. So we'll get Gus on that, figure out what's going on. So I hope that's all it is. You can hear Josh and I okay from that part too. So hey, 316-462-3673. If you got any questions, kind of like Jordan's, we'd love to hear from you and get you that great price package coming up through there from that part. So
Before we took that call, we were talking about the options packages and vehicles and stuff like that, and I would consider that kind of an options call as well. But I really think that that's something that we're going to see change a lot in the future as far as streamlining options available from the manufacturers with the use of these connected vehicles. The manufacturers being able to see what consumers using what as far as features and functions on the vehicle. I could see them going through and kind of streamlining them based on the usage, right? If more people are using it, then they can get more.
okay, they're telling me it's hard hearing me, Josh, and I'm on mic number 4.
Hard hearing you.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I get it. Hope that's better now, Dustin. Let me know if that's any better. Okay, so let's go through some chat lines here real quick. We got that all taken care of. Billy heard that. Bearded Banters. They were in here this morning kind of jacking with us too, right, Josh? So they want to get on our show, but that's okay. And Jeremy Kane, do I need to set up an oil change appointment for my oil change? Well, Jeremy, if you drive into our quick lane, no, we don't require an appointment. It would be better to help you get you through in and out better from that part for you too. So I got to go to my chat line here in a minute. Rob Gertz, what was the attendance last race? Looked like considerably larger than the first race. Rob, I wished it was. My camera's jacked up again, Josh. I wished it was. We were down about 200 in the crowd, and we're down about 20 cars, so it wasn't as good. But again, when we go through a holiday weekend and all that kind of stuff too, so it was part of the deal. I'm excited for June 21st to kick around. We're going to bring out the late models this time, and we're going to bring out the super stocks. I think there's going to be a couple more. Camera's messed up again, Josh. And I think the super stock's going to put on a great show for us. We're doing a little bit of marketing things with those guys to help those guys get out there. We'll have, I don't know if Nick got the rules out there yet for the super stocks, but we're excited to bring those guys out there and put on a good show for us. And I told everybody we'd get through a couple shows, see what we can do with car count and what we do with classes. And we were done at 9:45 last Friday, so that was cool. So we want to alter it up a little bit and change things up a little bit, have some more fun with different things and stuff too. So it'll be fun the next June 21st. Don't miss it. And again, earlier on the show, I talked about on the Salt City Racing LLC race page. Over on the left-hand side is our online store now. You can purchase some shirts, some seat cushions, and we have some hats coming. And that's just the start of our online store we're going to have for everybody to be able to get some merchandise and things for Salt City Racing.
So June 21st is the next.
June 21st, next race. Yeah. And we're bringing in these late models and we're bringing in the super stocks. So it'll be a fun time there too. Dustin Frenia, when should I flush my Super Duty transmission? I feel as it is needed. Dustin, that's a great question. And it all depends on what you're doing with that truck. So many people just drive the Super Duty. Some people tow all the time. Some people tow 10% of the time. Some people tow 50% of the time. And I'll let Josh kind of add in here too. But my thing is, Dustin, when transmission fluid gets hot, it turns color. And that's the first way to tell what's happening with your transmission fluid is look at the color of it. If it's starting to turn a little bit or whatever, I'd be getting that stuff out of it because that means it got hot, a little warm or whatever from that part, and it's breaking down and not be able to lubricate that transmission you need to. So you can go as many as I've seen guys go have to change that fluid because they tow 100% of the time out every 15,000. But I see other guys can go 45,000 not have an issue from that part. So we need to take a sample of that fluid and kind of see what it looks like and see what you got. So Josh,
looks like he says has got about 72,000 miles on it. So a couple of things again, like you said, is obviously looking at the fluid and seeing what kind of condition it is at 72,000. If it hasn't been done, it is due. It's overdue for sure from that side of it. That's one of those things that the biggest thing that a lot of people will wait till they start to have a transmission issue and then think, oh, I should flush my transmission.
It's going to fix it.
And at that point, it's too late.
Very, 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 very rarely will flushing the transmission fluid fix a concern. It can happen if you got a sticky valve or something like that going on in the transmission, but that's really not. It's preventative maintenance, changing the fluid. If you got something going in the transmission, we need to really diagnose it, figure out what's going on. But you're right. That's what happens. People think that something's starting acting up on it, start slipping or start shifting bad or whatever from that standpoint. Then we decide, let's go try to flush it. So anyway, Dustin, we just need to take a sample of that fluid, look at it, see what it looks like, and kind of determine what you're going to do, and then just keep monitoring every oil change and see how the fluid does to determine what your interval will need to be on that transmission flush. So let's see if we get the caller back through again.
Let's go to the phones and let's talk to Steve. Steve, you're on live with Under the Hood.
Is like losing the presets. So it's like it's a Chevrolet Impala. I bought it from you all, but it's got a screen on it for radios, and it has a little Sirius XM and all that. But the problem right now is it loses the presets.
It loses every time you shut it off and turn it back on. It loses it.
Well, she doesn't know exactly when it does it. It's just she'll be listening to one station or something like that, and then go back to the FM instead of Sirius XM, and the presets are all gone.
Okay, so yes, you don't know whether it's a key cycle doing it or not, or which,
No.
Yeah, we'd have to kind of determine that a little bit, because back on 16, when I'm thinking there, Josh, they have that, if he's got that keep alive memory in that phone, in that radio, that's not staying on, or if we just got some kind of electrical circuit inside the radio itself that's not holding those presets or whatever too.
But it's specifically to those stations, like will the clock stay?
The clock stays fine and all that. It's just the radio station presets.
No other voltage issues or having to jump start it or anything along those lines?
Not that we noticed, but there's so many things on this car now that we haven't even figured out all of them yet.
Yeah. Understand that.
Well, let's take a look at it. I'd love to look at it with you at no charge, or Steve, and figure out what's going on with it. But I'd like to know if you could, until we get it in here, play with it a little bit and see if it isn't on a key cycle that you shut the key off, that it loses it, or if it loses it just switching from, like say, FM to Sirius or FM to AM or whatever, if it loses it that way, or which way it's doing. But if you can't determine, I get it. We can play around with it too and try to figure it out also.
Yeah, it's got a start stop button. It's just got a key fob that you have to be close, and it's got a start stop button.
The other thing that I would wonder, so how many fobs do you have with this?
There we go. You're going right where I'm going to.
Yes, 3.
Okay, so there's the other issue we got, because back in 16, you could program those cars on each key fob, so different drivers could have different things. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's not what's going on. We're using a different key fob, and it's remembering other presets, because you used to be able to set up seat positions, heater, air conditioning systems, mirrors, radios, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's not what's going on. You've got a different remote running it, and then when you unlock the car or start the car with that other remote, that it's going back to the other settings.
It goes to that driver's preferences then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll try that too. But then I'll just make an appointment out there and see if y'all can figure it out for me.
Yeah, and bring all the remotes with you when you bring it in, so we can play with those remotes too a little bit, okay?
Okay. I appreciate the information.
No problem at all, Steve. Thanks for calling. We'll get you in here and figure it out for you, okay?
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Anyway, I bet you're going to find out those 3 remotes.
That's what I was wondering
Yeah.
Towards the end of that thing.
Anyway, Jeremy Kane, I used 44K in my last fuel weekend and improved my mileage considerably. I've got close to 400 miles on a tank when I usually get 200. Well, that's a big improvement. Anyway, but I will tell you, if you've got a car that has been sludged up or carboned up or whatever, and you do put the 44K in there, it's going to start cleaning and everything else too. And I've seen some good stories behind that 44K for sure. So I get that too, Jeremy. Anyway, Delbert thinks he needs a new A pin, but you know what?
Yeah, not on that thing.
Not on that one.
So
That's
it's
too
a
old.
Chevy Impala for one. So
good call though.
Yeah.
If that was a Ford, you might be right on the money there, Delbert. Kyler Fetters is dialing in. Hey, Kyler, why don't you call in and tell us how last night went? Racing and stuff. Love to hear from you. If you want to call into the show, call in the 316-462-3673. We'll patch you in and let's get an update of how everything went out with your racing and everything else too. Love to hear from you on that part too. So
they raced out. They raced out in Dodge.
No, they were at La Crosse, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Way out west out there.
Yeah. No rain out there.
No, yeah, I don't think so. I think they raced right on through the evening and everything else too. So anyway, Kyler, give us a call. Give us an update. Love to hear from you from that part too. So 316-462-3673. So, all right, I think we got everything patched up on the chat line. Sorry about the phone difficulties. We'll get Gus working on it again and see if we can figure out what's going on with that phone. Something's jacking with it. Maybe it's connect. Maybe it's not connect. But time for a new connector or something. It's not pulling through there or something. I don't know. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the automobile world, anything you want to talk about, anything whatsoever. We'll take your call and get you a great price package valued over $130. Only showing no, you get paid to go on.
What do you think? Talked a lot about just options on vehicles this episode for sure. But what do you think I don't know the answer to this, but just guess. What do you think the most requested option or most what the consumer desires the most out of an option on a vehicle? I mean, that's would be hard because pickups I think can maybe be a little different than cars and vice versa.
That is that's a great question. Let's do that. Let's throw that on the chat line. Let's throw it on the phone. What's your most desirable options you have to have on your car that you cannot live without?
So first to me probably comes to mind is people whether they would say, hey, I got to have leather or got to have cloth, right? Would you say that's probably pretty high on the list?
Yeah. So eliminate the cloth or in leather. What option or technology or whatever is a must-have you must have?
Yeah, I don't
not color.
And then that's a variable thing too, because years ago, like powers, windows, and locks were, I got to have that stuff. But then now that's pretty well standard
equipment.
Of
that part.
How about the intelligent access portion of it with the with the keyless entry side of it?
Well, they say really are not wanting an EV. Yeah, I get that. I'm glad that we're switching to some hybrids is what I'm really excited about. I think that's the route we should have been pushing a long time ago. But again, I'm not running Ford or GM or Chrysler or whoever else on that part too. Delbert says adaptive cruise. Love adaptive cruise. I had a gentleman in this week bought a Ranger. Didn't think anything about adaptive cruise or anything else like that. And then after he realized what it was doing, loves it. Imagine you know who that is.
Yeah, I do know who that is.
Loves it. So that's some of the things that happen with so much technology in these cars is we don't understand how to work them, how to turn them on, how to turn them off, or what they're supposed to do. Settings. I mean, I had a situation here a while back where a guy bought a new 24 Super Duty and just madder than all wet at me because he read about the evasive braking on the Super Duties, and he thought that's what his Super Duty was doing, driving down the highway. Well, no, what it was doing, it had turned on the sign recognition to where it could read the speed limit signs as you're driving down. Okay, somebody do something funny. Anyway, so I think I already see. Anyway, and he would read the 40 mile an hour off sign, and it would just shut the truck down to 40 mile an hour. So he thought the evasive braking was kicking in. But really, it was just the sign. It was reading the 40 mile an hour sign
on the frontage road.
On the frontage roads. Turn it off. Guess what? Fixed the truck. So he was mad and all crazy at this truck. Well, guess what? It was just strictly an option setting that we didn't set right for him from that part. So there's a lot of things from that part. Okay, Jeremy, I'm not sure about that one or not, but really good looking girl option to go with my new vehicle. Well, yeah, I get that too. So, okay, so we got adaptive cruise. What else, everybody? What is your next? Oh, we got another caller coming.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get Kyle patched through here.
What is a must-have? Not leather, not cloth, not color. What is an option, a technology option, or whatever it's you must have And I'm with Delbert. I love my adaptive cruise.
Yeah. Yeah, man, there's so many of them. There's so many different options that, and then even from that side, do you get a lot of people that are ordering a vehicle that say they want a specific option, but then are maybe frustrated because it comes in a whole package instead of just having that individual option too. So let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Kyler. Kyler, good morning. Doing good.
Yeah, well, hey, Phil, we had a great night, buddy, last night. How'd you guys do?
We got rained out, dude. Pulled into the racetracks. We didn't even unload. We were right there. I had the back door down, but that's about it. Boy, it started coming, and Jake said, "Let's go." And I'm thinking, okay, let's just pull out just so we can get out of it, because it's line of the pits are really low. And last year they had to wait till the next day to get the tractors in and pull guys out of there. So I took off. I got out, almost headed to the road there, and I looked up, and Nick says, "Let's go." And we turned out of headed south on that blacktop road, and it was pouring and pouring and pouring. So we didn't get a race. We just got to drive for a couple hours.
You know, and I got a couple calls early today, kind of when I'm up, Phil.
Yeah.
But, no, I got some calls saying, "Hey, are we racing tonight at Dodge? Because our rigs are still stuck in the crafted Salina." And I said, "Well, you guys better go get a tractor, because we're racing."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's looking good here. We got 3/4 of an inch, but you know the good thing about Dodge City is we are all concrete pits, and everything is just, we can take a lot of rain before we get rained out, you know, and that's a good thing. We got a little water standing on the infield, but the track's going to be fast. Talk about last night a little bit, though. That track was bad fast, and at the very end of the night, and I'm not kidding, your shoes like stuck to the racetrack at La Crosse.
Really?
It was unreal. And those ASCS 360 guys went 30 laps green to checkered on a bull ring.
Really?
And Seth Bergman put on a clink. Matt Covington was right behind him, and one of our local guys, Jeremy Campbell, he even raced sixth. I think we had 24 ASCS sprint cars last night, and we started all 24 on the sideball ring.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, one thing that surprised me, we had 13 cruiser cars there last night.
Cruisers. We got to get one of them put together.
Yeah, and you know what? That was so cool.
How many buses?
3 wide in the course.
How many buses did you have?
We didn't have any buses. I didn't. Just the one I drove up in, but not the one that we raced.
Kyler, just so everybody knows, Kyler's got this big old black Dodge bus, and he took it out on the racetrack last time he was at Dodge. They said, I didn't get to watch him because I was kind of waiting. They said he put a little slide job on some guy coming out of turn 4. But
well, I told him I'd get out of the groove when they started to pass me. I went a little high, and we just watered it. And it was exciting. I had to go clean the shorts when I got back.
That would maybe deflate you a little bit if you got passed by a bus.
Oh, yeah, that camera.
It was a great night. We had a packed house. They brought extra bleachers in. It's the biggest crowd I think they've ever had at Rush County last night. And the cars didn't disappoint. Great racing. It was a little level up. Smokey had some rain earlier this week. So, there was a lot of moisture in the racetrack. And it was a little rough for the heat races. But we kept wheel packing it in. Can't thank our push trucks enough. Jeremy, you never showed up, so if you're watching, I hope you're.
He's watching. He's chiming in.
Is he?
Yeah.
But no, we got it rolled in, and we worked hard on that all night long, and it was a great show. Tonight ain't gonna be no different. We're gonna honor Steve King at the Steve King Memorial, and I think we're going to have a few more sprint cars. I think we're looking at 28 sprint cars. We didn't hurt one sprint car last night, and we're racing the limited in Southern Sport months, and we're allowing the B months. So come on down, guys, and then we're going to run our Sport mod division and IMC Hobby Stock. So it's going to be a great night of racing here at Dodge. We're looking forward.
All right, sounds fun. So what all classes are you running?
So the sprint cars, we'll have the NCS 360 sprint cars. Then we'll have the limited Southern and V-Mods. They're running together in their own division. It's going to be unsanctioned. And then we're running our IMCA Northern Sport Mods for their weekly and national and state points. And then we'll run the IMCA Hobby Stock class. And, it's not going to disappoint.
All right, well, that sounds fun. Somebody needs a little road trip to head out to Dodge City. Trust me, it's 2 hours. Pulling a race rig is 2 hours and 20 minutes to get there. So just so you know, you might do it a little faster than I can do it in a race rig. Not much, I promise you that. So from here, from Wichita to Dodge City, 2 hours and 20 minutes to, I will say, the best facility in the state of Kansas for racing. Other than Kansas Speedway, I got to give that up. But for dirt track racing, there's no better facility than Dodge City from that part.
Well, I appreciate that. And then, like I said, the weather's looking fine. We're good. The rain came in. It's just going to make it fast. And it's going to be a good time to ride Dodge City.
All right. So everybody tune in and everything else too. Hey, that's the thing I was going to tell you is lacrosse must not use my race pass because I got on there to look last night. Didn't see anything for car counts and finishes and all that kind of stuff. So they must not use my race pass, huh?
You know, we opted not to because the cruiser cars don't run transponders. We don't make the cruiser cars. And then we started with, I think, 6 hobby stocks, and we picked a couple up when Salina canceled. John Saliba made his way out there.
Yep.
And so he came out and ran with us. And John, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I had to black flag you last time. He lost his brakes, Phil. He lost his brakes.
Yeah.
And he was putting on a show, I'll tell you.
Was he?
He was fast.
Yeah.
He was fast. And that was the only time I probably ever got booed as an official when I black flagged him because he like I said, he lost his brakes. Him and I talked about it afterwards. He said, I know I was rough on a couple of them. And when I black flagged him, because we made him start in the back. And he went to the front pretty quick. And when I had to pull him off, the crowd booed me. They didn't really like that too much.
Well, and sometimes it's hard to make those calls, but you got to make those calls to keep everybody safe and everybody else on the racetrack safe too.
Yeah. You know, when you're a racer, you know, all you can think about is going fast in front. You know, and sometimes, you know, not having brakes, you don't think about it, but you know, you do yourself some harm. But no, it was a good night of racing. I want to thank everybody that came out. You know, we had a lot of Wichita folks. We had a lot of Hutchinson folks, and that's been great. And the partnership with you guys in Salt City, you know, we're getting a lot more of those Hutchinson and Wichita folks to come out to both tracks, and that's just a good thing.
Yep, I get it.
So, well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for what you do.
No, thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for giving us an update. Good luck tonight at Dodge City. So everybody, 2 hours and 20 minutes from the dealership to straight out 400 to Dodge City Raceway. First best racing facility, dirt track facilities in the state by far. Concession stand is pretty good too. So you don't eat on your way out there. Concession stand is really good. So
well, we got meal deals, $10. Get you a cheeseburger, French fries, and 20-ounce bottle pop. You can't go to McDonald's for $10.
I was gonna say $10.
no, you can't. Can't do it. So good job there. Everybody head to Dodge City. Kyler, thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for everything you do for us in Salt City Racing, in your team and everybody there too. So have a great night. Go fast and turn left, right?
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you all at the track.
See you guys.
Yeah.
All right, 316-462-3673. Any more callers coming up? We're running out of time. Everything else from that part too. 316-462-3673. Anything alien car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in automobile world, whatever it might be. Let's go. So back to what is your must-have options. We kind of got a few comments about adaptive cruise. That's about all we kind of got. So what is your must-have option that you cannot live without in your car?
Well, I'd say cruise control for sure for me. But even, you know, with that, the adaptive cruise control for sure. But what do you suppose the most option is that you see in like a higher line vehicle that customers are saying, I don't need that? I'd say probably sunroof, right? There's a lot that you're either on a sunroof, you either got to have one or you don't have one. There's no like in between.
Well, and here's what I tell everybody about a sunroof. I get that maybe you don't use it or you don't like it or whatever from that part. But if you're in a high-end car and you're spending all the money to get all the techs, all the everything else for that part, that sunroof is going to make you money, and which is why when you get ready to trade it, because the next customer that wants that truck, guess what he's going to want? He's going to want that sunroof. You take that option out of that vehicle, whatever, it just hurts the value for that next person. So that's what you got to think about when you're also buying your car today. It used to be just buy a car and run it to 80, 90, 100,000 miles and throw them in junk cars. Now today you're doing an investment. Yeah, it's still a depreciating asset. I get that, but it's still an investment. You got to invest your money the best way possible to retain it. And I still can prove it time and time again. A simple sunroof that's $1,400 or $1,500 new from the factory. It's worth that coming back. It's kind of like a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive truck. You will always get your money back out of a 4-wheel drive that you spent when it was new for that part too. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Sorry about that. I would, you said 4-wheel drive, and the majority of everything we see is 4-wheel drive.
oh yeah, it's hardly very rare do we see that either too.
And I suppose you go down maybe a little further south in Texas and stuff like that. Maybe it's a little less. I would be curious to know what the manufacturers produce 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive now versus what they did, 20 years ago. I'm sure that's increased so much.
Yeah. So anyway, Matt O'Connor, cruise control, speeding tickets are not cheap. I get it. My wife ever needs the park assist. She would hit everything without it. Yeah, get that too. Bill Lindsay, I'm not able to call this morning. I need to check and see when the parts will be available for the recall of the 17 Explorer and the 8-post caps. I have one that needs to try coming off. So what's happening there?
Yeah, I'd have to look up and see what his parts are, and I'll reach out to you, Bill, and we'll come up
Figure out what's going on.
Yeah, come up with a game plan.
All right, who's our caller? Greg's next on our caller.
Yep. Greg, you're on live with Under the Hood.
Good morning, you guys. All the way from Grand Teton National Park.
Grand Teton National Park.
What are you doing out there? Having fun?
Oh yeah, camping. We took the truck, dug our trailer behind it, and that's what I called for. I was listening to the show. I was making breakfast. Plugged into that generator that's got in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
We've got a microwave and an electric skillet plugged in. We were talking about.
It doesn't sound like you're camping. I don't know.
Well, you don't really rough it.
Gotcha.
But that's really thanks to the truck.
Good.
Because the truck has Wi-Fi, we can have 10 devices on it. So we've got 5 kids with us, which means we had to drive 2 vehicles because it doesn't seem that many. But at the same time, great time, good gas mileage because of the hybrid.
Yep.
I don't know. But the thing I really involved about this week, we were driving up and we saw in Western Kansas there was some lightning way off in the distance. And I'll be honest, weather does impact if we're going to stop for the night or if we're going to continue. And I went to go hit the weather that you can get on the truck. Anyway, you can get the radar, you can get what the weather is going to be at your destination. And I went to hit that, and I didn't realize our 36 months was up the truck.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
driving along. It was a no big trick though, because driving along, my wife pulls out the Ford Pass app, and we had that points that she had it connected within 5 minutes.
Cool.
So
very nice. Yeah, it's amazing the technology we live in and world we live in with that
the touch of
situation
your
too.
fingertips, like that.
Yeah, how did we do it 20 and 30 years ago? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it was really cool that we're driving along, and I'm like, oh man, we don't have the weather. Then of course we don't have traffic either, because that's part of that same deal. So we couldn't see if there was road closures or whatever.
Yeah.
As we got to Denver, but he was connected before we got there, so
Sweet.
it was really, really cool.
That's awesome. Well, Greg, thanks for the call. Appreciate the kind of information for everybody too on that kind of deal. Less than 5 minutes, had it connected and got yourself back being safe and everything else too. So that's cool.
Glad you're enjoying all those options on that truck for sure.
I'm telling you, it makes traveling. I don't know. Is it glamping or camping?
Yeah, I get it.
When you have the internet.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you need out there, right?
So I don't know about your household. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I will say my household is much more happier with coffee in the morning than with not. And I'm not the one that needs the coffee, so you can devise that with what you need. But that electricity will help.
I bet we lost him.
I think we lost him. So
Sorry about that, Greg, but thanks for the information and updates. It's no different like last night, Josh, as we were rolling out of Salina. Nixon in the co-pilot seat with me there in the 450, and I said, "Where's this weather at?" I said, "Am I gonna be able to outrun it? Where are we at?" And of course, it started pouring really hard. He says, "Boy, it's coming back around us. You better get going." Well, I couldn't because it was raining so hard.
yeah.
But again, we were monitoring all that just to keep safe. And heck, I remember one night coming out of Dodge City, I was calling you
Yep.
with the 4 flight information, tell me where I was at, and it was no kidding, Josh. Well, you better hang on here just a little bit. It was no kidding. It's all I could do to drive about 3 mile an hour and see nothing but that white line along the outside of that truck. So I just don't know how we did it 20 and 30 years ago and stay as safe as we are today with all the information we have. Jeremy Kane, tire pressure monitoring. I agree with that too, Josh. I got to fix my tire pressure monitoring on my trailer too.
Oh yeah.
But I do love the tire pressure monitor because you cannot tell today what your tires pressures are without putting a gauge on them from that part. You can't. Used to be you could walk up and look at them and tell they were low and that kind of thing. You cannot do that today. I love the tire pressure monitor just to be able to monitor as you're driving down the road and see what you got going on and think about how many times that saved people, keeping them safe and everything else too. So anyway, we're running out of time here, everybody, and trying to think what else we think we covered everything we were going to cover, didn't we, Josh? You got anything?
I think so.
Got everything all hanky there. So anyway, trying to think.
Well, we need to recap the available on the website for shirt purchase.
Salt City Racing LLC. We do now have our apparel up there. We have
we'll have that webpage up next week. I don't know. We're gonna fix some stuff.
We got to get an IT guy on some of this stuff in here too. Gus, I'm kidding, Gus. Anyway, yeah, so Salt City Racing LLC. We do over the left hand side. We have a shop tab there now where you can get up and turn and buy the t-shirts that we shot out of the cannons out there last Friday. We have some seat cushions going to be here about the middle of June. We've ordered up, and then we got some hats coming, a black and a red hat, black and blue hats that are coming. And that's just the start of our online store there at Salt City Racing LLC. Next race, June 21st. We're bringing in the late models and we're bringing in the super stocks, and excited for both those classes to be racing there at Hutch. And we're trying to do everything we can to get as many different classes and things out there that we can on that racetrack. But most importantly, people, we need to fill those grandstands and show this fair board we want to keep this racetrack, and they voted correctly to let us race so we can get us a 3 or 5 year deal going forward in October. And we'll see what happens with the car count on the late models and super stocks, Matt. I agree with you 100%. We'll see what happens. But, it's just a lot of comments I can make on that comment too, Matt. So, but anyway, June 21st, gates will open at 5 for the spectators. Racing will start. Its hot laps will be around 6:30. And we'll see what the late models do and super stocks do that part. So don't miss June 21st at Salt City Racing at the Kansas State Fairgrounds. So anyway, Josh, anything else from that part?
I think we can wrap out the show.
Anyway, one last time to our people that help us keep this show alive is BG Products, all the great preventative maintenance. Hey, I know a gentleman was working with BG back when it kind of started in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
They had 3 chemicals. And look what they've grown into now.
That's crazy.
All the things they've got there, BG Products. And Jeremy Kane talked about what 44K does for his car and stuff like that too. And they are great products that we use here inside Mel Hambelton Ford. It's even so much that GM and Ford is now is
starting to introduce it
into their products and things. They know how good that stuff is. Rental car, go to rent. Hey, if you're looking for a rental car, a 12 or 15 passenger van or something you don't want to put miles on or something bigger, you got a vacation coming up, give Stan a call right inside here at Mel Hambelton Ford. And of course, Big Corner Carady for all your advertising needs. Hey, you need a web page design, a vehicle wrap, windows, tinted windows wrap, anything to advertise your business. As Jesse says with his great crew he has down there at Big Corner Carady, just Google us. Everybody have a great Saturday. Stay dry, stay safe, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday at 6 o'clock and next Saturday at 9 o'clock. Everybody have a great Saturday. We'll talk to you soon.